On May 25th, 1989, Cindy James disappeared from Richmond, British Columbia. 2 weeks later, she was found in the yard of an abandoned house, hogtied and with a stocking tied around her neck, dead. Her autopsy revealed that she had a lethal amount of morphine, diazepam, and flurazepam in her system the day she died. For years before her death, Cindy had made claims of being stalked, attacked, and terrorized, but the police could never prove it. In today's episode, we'll go over Cindy's life before her death, the years of torment that she claimed to endure, and the investigation that followed. Was Cindy the victim of a ruthless predator, or the architect of her own demise? Stick around, and I'm sure the two greatest minds in this room right now will get to the bottom of it. I'm Ben.
I'm Logan.
And this is Tinfoil Talk. All right, we're back. In the stew.
Here we are.
Here we are. I've got a fun little kickoff game for us to play real quick.
You've been teasing this pretty heavy. Yeah. I really hope it stands up.
Well, it probably won't, but it will for me. I'm really excited. I think it's going to be a fun time. Okay. So most people refer to this as Would You Rather. So I'm going to ask you one really fun Would You Rather, and I'm going to judge your character based off how you answer it.
Okay. All right.
Would you rather... Would you rather fart extremely loud every time you met someone new, or burp uncontrollably every time you kiss somebody?
Is this what we've reduced ourselves to?
Yeah.
Fart jokes?
Yeah.
On the show?
That was a fart and burp joke, but yeah. and I'm going to twist it a little bit. Would you rather fart uncontrollably every time you met somebody, or burp uncontrollably every time you kissed somebody?
Kiss somebody?
Yeah. Like every time you kiss whoever you would kiss in your life. Could be anybody. Like,
let me get this straight.
Okay.
You've been teasing this for like 10 minutes.
Yeah.
This is what you were so excited to ask.
Yeah, dude, it's hilarious. I laughed for a long time about this before you got here.
I mean,
realistically though, which one would you rather deal with?
I feel like burps are more gross than farts. Farts are kind of funny.
But imagine, it uncontrollably, right? So every time you meet a new person, no matter what the situation, you're going to start violently farting all in your underwear or whatever.
Oh. What are we doing?
I'm just asking, dude. I'm just asking.
This is ridiculous. Yeah. I mean, farting uncontrollably isn't going to... It's going to hinder you, but not as much as burping uncontrollably would.
Okay.
I think.
So you think you'd rather fart every time you met somebody new? Uncontrollably?
I mean, what? Okay. I just won't meet anybody new.
I don't think you have control over that.
If I see somebody new, like, in my line of sight, I'm just going to avoid them.
What if you have to, like, interview for a promotion at work and you have to, like, sit down with the head of a company that you never met or whatever?
Nah, I don't need the job. I'm good.
You're going to go out of your way to not get a job just because
it's either that or just start farting uncontrollably. When do I stop?
I didn't think that far into it. I'll be honest.
This is ridiculous.
I'm sorry. I thought this was really fun. This is a fun exercise. I learned a lot about you.
There's going to be people that this is going to be the first episode they hear.
Yeah, they're going to turn it off.
Yeah.
They're not going to make it this far.
Fart jokes.
Haha.
Off rip. Here we are. What about you?
Which, I think I'd burp uncontrollably.
Okay.
Because, I mean, I meet new people every day, so I would really rather not.
Burping?
Well, no. I said burp every time you kiss somebody.
Oh. My answer stays the same, though.
Yeah. I would rather burp.
That's really disrespectful. You go in to kiss somebody, you burp in their mouth?
But, I mean, my wife would know. She's the only person I kiss. So, like, she would know. I'd be like, hey, I lost. You know what? This is irrational. Why don't we do our beer review, huh? Why don't we do that?
Okay. So I'm pretty sure we teased this a while back.
We did.
Maybe when I purchased this. We are going to kick off the spooky season.
It is October 2nd. It's here.
Yep. We're here.
It's time to get spooky.
We're going to kick off this spooky season with some spooky beer.
Okay.
Actually, technically, I don't think this is a beer. What we have is Angry Orchard Hard Cider.
Ooh.
This is Berry Bewitched.
That looks fantastic.
Very cool looking can.
This is really. Did you put this in the freezer?
No.
This is really cold.
It's in your fridge.
Interesting. This can is wicked.
It's very cool.
Wow.
I'm going to be honest. There's a much cooler can in there that I'm very excited to review. We're going to save that for the finale.
Okay.
We may even do like a special
Halloween episode.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe that's something we do.
I don't know. Do you know what day Halloween's on this year?
Friday.
Oh,
We
doesn't get better than that.
We could do like a.
Well, we do it day before. We record Thursdays.
Yeah.
You know what? We'll talk about this off. This is not the time for scheduling conflicts.
Yep.
Anyway, Angry Orchard time. I've never had an Angry Orchard.
I've had the original Angry Orchard. It's okay, but it is a tad too sweet for my liking.
Okay. We'll get a crack test here.
Yep.
Yep.
Sounds crisp.
Sounds good, yeah.
My turn. This can is sick, man.
This is nice. Whoever designed this, hats off to you. 5%. Told you off air I won't be able to consume the beverage in its entirety due to medicinal conflicts, but I'll be able to sip it, and I'll let you have the rest of it.
Ben has a drug problem.
I do not have a drug problem. I have poison ivy on me, so I'm taking medicine for it.
Sorry, I just went for it.
I did too.
Wow.
It's all right.
I like that. It's still sweet. I don't love how sweet it is, but it's got a good flavor.
This gives me, which it's not a beer, so I'm trying to get out of that mindset.
Yeah, that's true.
Gives me wine cooler vibes.
Yeah. Ooh.
I mean,
cool color.
It's not bad.
Look down in there.
Oh, it's purple.
Mm-hmm.
Looks like grape soda, kind of.
Tastes kind of like grape soda.
Yeah, I like that. I'll let you have the rest of it here.
Cool. That's 2 beers for me. I got 2 more in this cooler.
You do what you gotta do, boss. I'll join you Saturday. I should be through my scheduled medicine time.
Okay.
Saturday, or I'll make sure I am.
All right. Well, we got
Here we are. We have a
4
lot.
beers, 2 guys.
Yeah.
Quite a story, so I've been told.
We have a lot to cover. I'm gonna go ahead and get this out of the way. This could have been probably a 3-part story had I included
3 parts. Wow. Okay.
Had I included every single aspect of her case. This is going to be a really long episode, just a heads up. I'm going to touch on it again as we go, but there's going to be some info I don't address due to how long this would be. So I try to stick to things that are relevant to her disappearance and death.
Okay. So you're not getting the entire story is what I'm hearing.
Right. But you're not missing anything that is absolutely vital to knowing something else. Like, you're not going to miss something that, if you knew it, it would change your view of the story.
Okay. Sounds good.
Okay. Let's kick it off, shall we? Cindy Elizabeth Hack was born in Oliver, British Columbia, Canada, on June 12, 1944, to Tilly and Otto Hack. Tilly was a homemaker, and Otto was an English teacher and former colonel in the Royal Canadian Air Force. Cindy was one of 6 children, with 3 older brothers and 2 younger sisters. Cindy spent most of her younger life and her teenage years in Ottawa due to her father being in the Air Force, and she attended middle and high school there. It is also noted that she kept a journal and wrote a lot of her life as a young person was dictated by the strictness of her father, citing that he would spank and beat her and her siblings. Other than this, there is nothing else relative to her adulthood that is worth mentioning. From all accounts I could find, relatively normal childhood.
Okay. I have a military dad. He was a very, very strict man.
Yeah.
And if she was born in 1944, it is awful, but her dad beating her for the time period, it's not that crazy.
No, and I don't think it'd be crazy today. I mean, you still hear about it. Not that it's okay by any means, but you still hear, like, not beating, but you still hear of, like, parents spanking their kids.
Sure, yeah. I don't think parents are outward about beating their kids, though.
No.
No, not anymore.
No.
Not anymore.
You
But,
could
I mean,
keep
for
going.
Cindy, born in 1944, I don't think that's huge. I don't
For
think
the
that
time
has,
period, it's considered normal,
Yeah.
though not anymore today.
should have much sway on
Yeah.
old Cindy, should it?
We'll see.
Okay. All right.
Transitioning to her adult life, Cindy pursued a career as a nurse in Vancouver, and in 1962, she enrolled in nursing school. During her time in school, her father re-enlisted with the Air Force and relocated the family to France, where Cindy would go visit during the holidays. Over time, in letters she would send to her family, she began mentioning a man that she had met who was interning at the school where she was studying. She claimed that at one point the two had begun a relationship and were even engaged. However, after discovering that this man had terminal cancer, he committed suicide while the two were on a skiing trip. No one in Cindy's family ever met this man, and Cindy never gave anyone his name. Additionally, her telling of his existence was only after his suicide.
That's pretty interesting.
I felt you look at me while I was reading that last sentence. Like you were looking at me like, what? Yeah. So,
Is there any, like, documentation that proved this man was real?
absolutely nothing.
So all we have at this point is Cindy's word.
All we have is her word and the letter she sent saying that she was dating this man, they got engaged, he got terminal cancer, committed suicide on a skiing trip, and then she moved on.
It's interesting, to say the least.
Interesting indeed. And keep in mind, as the story unfolds, the type of person you would expect to pull a stunt like that.
Okay. Understood.
Okay.
That's weird.
Very weird. It's going to get way more weird as we go.
Good deal. So she's 18 at this time.
Right.
Her family is in France.
Mhm.
She met a mystery man. The mystery man died before anyone in her family met her. Met
Before,
him, rather.
before anyone even knew about him.
Hmm.
She told him about their relationship and his suicide all at once.
Okay. All right, Cindy.
So, in the summer of 1965, Cindy met a South African psychiatrist named Roy Makepeace, who was roughly 18 years older than Cindy. So, at this point, Cindy was roughly 20 to 21, Roy was 39 or 40. A little over a year later, on December 9th of 1966, the two got married after Cindy graduated from nursing school. It's noted that Cindy's parents did not approve of her relationship with Roy, one reason being the age gap and the other being the fact that they thought he would take advantage of her. All of this was said after Cindy's death, by the way. So they came forward and thought that Roy would take advantage of her after she passed. Like, it's what they were, I didn't word that great. They were thinking it while they were married, but they didn't come out and say it until she had been found dead. So family didn't approve of him at all.
Spoiler alert, Cindy dies.
Yeah, it was in the intro.
Oh, okay, yeah. Okay. It's a weird family so far.
Mm-hmm.
Weird little dynamic we have here.
Yeah, very strange. They also claim that Roy and Cindy had a rocky relationship, and at times the two would appear distant from one another. Cindy would later make accusations of abuse against Roy, claiming that he would beat her physically and abuse her emotionally and verbally. Makepeace would later comment on these allegations, saying, quote, "Over the course of our marriage, I only slapped her twice."
Ah, okay, well, I mean, vindicated.
Go on. What do you mean?
He said only twice, man.
I mean, for the time period, again, that's probably not considered outrageous.
60s?
Yeah.
I
And
mean,
it's
I don't know.
absolutely egregious behavior, but back then, people probably turned a blind eye to it.
I mean,
Yeah.
the age gap is also... Is that normal for the 60s? I don't know.
I don't think that was very normal, no.
Like maybe 10 years at the max?
Well, I don't know, actually. I think it was probably more acceptable back then than it would be nowadays.
Her parents clearly didn't like that.
Yeah.
But he only slapped her twice. So.
Yeah, it's only twice, it's not a big deal. God. So even though Roy was a licensed psychiatrist in his home country of South Africa, he failed 2 times to obtain his medical license in Canada, ultimately accepting a job as an assistant professor in the Faculty of Medicine at the University of British Columbia. Cindy ended up landing a position at the Vancouver General Hospital as a pediatric nurse once she graduated from school. From 1966 to about 1980, She worked a few different jobs at a few different medical facilities, and the same can be said for Roy Makepeace. Nothing on paper out of the ordinary, per se, during this time. Then, in May of 1982, Cindy decided to part ways with Roy, and the two got a divorce. This is where we in the business like to say, shit hits the fan.
Is that what we in the business say?
That's what we, as
What business exactly?
Sorry, I missed your question. We're going to move on from that statement. From September of 1982 until her death in May of 1989, Cindy reported roughly 90 incidents of criminal activity against herself to the Royal Canadian Mounted Police, or the RCMP. She claimed alleged acts of stalking, vandalism, arson, harassment, intimidation, home invasion, and physical assault by an unknown person or persons.
Okay.
So we will start in 1982.
So over the course of 7 years, 90
Yes.
police reports, we'll say, just to simplify things for us Americans.
Yeah.
90 police reports over the span of 7 years.
90 police reports that were investigated by the RCMP.
Oh, so there were more that were not taken seriously.
More than likely, there were a bunch more.
Okay.
And this
just
is why
tired of hearing from her.
We'll
More
get
or
to
less.
that. Yeah.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry.
Well, it's not that they get tired of. I don't want to give away too much. However, obviously, I said at the beginning we're not going to be able to cover all of it.
Yeah.
That was kind of what I was referencing. We can't do, because I mean, you can pretty much find almost all 90 online. So it would be impossible to cover each one in detail.
Is that like America up there? You can just go request police reports?
Oh yeah, I mean, you can. It's all public knowledge.
Okay.
They have it all. And with a case this big, I mean, everything, like they made a death happen, so they made everything public.
Yeah. Okay. Well, there you go. If we missed something that you really wanted to hear, call Canada and ask for the police report.
Or just use the internet, because we're in the 21st century. So, like I said, we'll start 1982. 4 months after Cindy and Roy Makepeace separated, so in September of 82, Cindy began telling her friends and family that she suspected a, quote, prowler had been lurking around her home. Shortly after this, she started receiving a series of strange and obscene phone calls. Cindy's mother notes that Cindy was reluctant at first to tell anyone about these phone calls because some of them were sexual or even violent in nature. She claimed that the perpetrator would speak in different voices or sometimes not even speak at all. On October 11th, Cindy got a call from the assailant that said, quote, "I will get you one night, Cindy," in a whispered voice. She reported each call to the RCMP, who would visit her home and suggest she begin keeping a detailed list of what time each call came, what was said, as well as try and get a phone number. I don't really know how they expected to get a phone number. Like, I mean, they had landlines.
What do you mean, caller ID?
I mean, yeah, but I would think if someone's doing this, they're going to find a way to mask the call.
Oh, that was a joke. Was caller ID available in 1982?
I wasn't alive. Were you?
Yeah, I was alive.
No, I'm just kidding. No, I don't know. I would assume so. I mean, I feel like
Caller ID?
Yeah, maybe. I have no idea.
I think we have to do a live lookup on this.
All right, we'll do a live lookup. You live lookup. I'm going to keep reading.
Okay.
So after that brief live lookup, thanks to the power of editing, December of 1988 is when caller ID in the good old city of Memphis, Tennessee.
Memphis, Tennessee.
Right here in the backyard. Interesting.
Yeah, 88. So in 1982, this is all for naught because I feel like most people knew getting a phone number was going to be difficult.
Yeah. And
this is just for us.
Well, yeah, and I think it was just, they were like, hey, if you can get their number, do it, knowing good and well she's not going to get it.
Fair enough.
So on one occasion, once an RCMP officer left her home after a checkup, Cindy immediately received another call from a male voice that said, quote, "You fucking bitch, I will get you. So you think calling the police will keep you safe? You wait. I've got my zipper open. I am talking to my throbbing," end quote. And she slammed the phone down and hung up the call. That is real.
Talking to my throbbing, and then
Yeah, and this they had not
was it
started.
cut off, or did
She hung the phone up. Yeah, she slammed the phone down, hung up.
Okay.
And this was before, like, they can't verify this, so that quote may not be exact, but they weren't recording the phone calls yet.
Mm-hmm.
Spoiler alert: they start tapping her phone to listen to these calls. But
So this is a quote from Cindy?
yeah, this was what Cindy on her next call. She like to the RCMP. She said this person called back as soon as you left and said this. Yeah.
Cindy?
Yeah.
I'm going to take this at face value right now. She kind of lost me with the story about the mystery man.
Yeah, and that's a big hurdle to get over, like, immediately. Now, some of these stories, as we're going to read, like, once they become physical, like, you're going to think, okay, maybe she's not making this up.
I mean, she was 18 when she gave the story about the mystery man.
Yeah.
So,
like, who's to say he didn't just up and leave and she didn't want to be embarrassed by...
She was 18 years old living in BC by herself.
Yeah.
I mean...
Who knows? And we'll get into her, like, psychological evaluations. There's all kinds of stuff we'll dive into. So 2 days after this incident, Cindy called the RCMP and reported she heard some shuffling around her house. And the next morning she woke up and her porch lights were smashed. Again on October 15th, she called and reported a rock had been thrown through her window. And then on October 19th, she called and reported that somebody broke into her home and slashed one of her pillows open while she was away at work with what looked like a knife or some other sharp object. It's around this time where Cindy begins to rely on Detective Constable Patrick McBride with the Vancouver RCMP. McBride suspected that the culprit was Cindy's ex-husband, Roy Makepeace, who obviously denied any involvement. Cindy backs up Roy's statement, claiming that she did not believe it was Roy behind these disturbances. So it's kind of where my head went at first also. Like, she ends the relationship. Roy Makepeace gets pissed, starts throwing rocks through her window, calling,
Do we know how Roy felt about the divorce? Was it mutual or?
Yes and no. Well, I'm probably going to say this a lot. We'll get into that.
Okay.
About what happens between the two of them.
Well, I mean, I feel like if Cindy's confident at this point it's not Roy, then we have no reason not to believe her.
Yeah, and I think she's not confident, but she is saying she doesn't think it's Roy.
She doesn't.
Like, she doesn't believe Roy would do this.
Okay. So
because it hasn't really escalated to a point. I mean, the pillow slashing, that's pretty. Like, they're in your house at that point.
Well, what I was thinking when you read all of that. Her porch lights were smashed. Her pillow was slashed open. These are all things she feasibly could have done herself and then called the police if she was dedicated to
absolutely
making up a story.
So I think depending on how you look at this story, if you go into this story looking at it like, oh, she made all this up, it's going to be easy to justify. On the flip side of that, if you go into this story thinking she 100% was being attacked by a perpetrator, you can easily justify it.
I'm going in with the mindset of I need something that is going to make me believe. You know what I mean? Like, if we have maybe not a history. If we have one instance where, which we don't even know if she made up the story. If we have one instance where there was a story that may or may not have been real, I think it's fair to question most of the things she's saying.
Yeah. 100%. I mean, it's fair to question it anyway. Like, as we progress, I'll start talking about these different attacks, and every single time the police just come up with, like, not much. Like, not to give too much away, but it's going to become evident pretty quick.
Okay. Well, let's keep it moving then.
Okay. So the following day, on October 20th, two tenants who were renting the basement of Cindy's home reported to the police that they heard strange noises coming from above them on the main floor of the house while Cindy was away at work, though this was apparently never looked into. Additionally, Cindy's next-door neighbor informed Detective Constable McBride that she had seen a man standing outside of Cindy's house on at least three separate occasions. And when shown a photo of Roy Makepeace, the neighbor said there was no resemblance between the two. In a weird turn of events, Cindy and Constable McBride develop a relationship during this time. McBride, who was also recently divorced, decided to move into Cindy's house on October 31st of 1982. Cindy told her friends and family that McBride offered to stay with her for 2 weeks to assist with her troubles and surveil the property in the event that the perpetrator were to strike again.
Fuck's going on up there?
Yeah. And I wish there was like some segue writing to put in there, but this is as it happens. Like this was, I mean, we're going day by day here. Like these people meet 2 weeks later. He's like, I'm going to move in and we're going to start dating.
So he just kind of told her?
Well, no, I mean, that was kind of agreed. Like he offered, hey, I can stay with you, you know, in case these attacks get worse. Maybe we can figure out who the perpetrator is. And Cindy agreed to it.
In any case, that's fucking bizarre.
It's weird. Yeah.
The detective on your potential home invasion case is now your boyfriend and he's living with you?
Well, you got to think about it. Like, we know she ends up dying, right? Like, we're 100% aware of this. But up until this point, like, the only thing that's happened is just a minor home break-in. And they you know, broke your porch lights and they called your house a few times. Like,
but it's escalated enough to where a detective is involved.
That's true. Well, because somebody broke in, so there's now evidence of a perpetrator. But to move into the house,
it's odd.
That's
weird.
Beyond odd. It's beyond odd to me.
I feel like it's a conflict of interest.
A little bit. Seems like McBride had other motives, and it's worth noting Cindy was a very attractive woman.
Okay.
So 3 days after Constable McBride moved into Cindy's home, he discovered Roy Makepeace sitting in his car in an alley behind her house. He questioned Makepeace, and Roy claimed that he too was attempting to catch the perpetrator in the act. However, he quickly left after McBride told him that he was living with Cindy. Could you imagine that conversation? It's like, hey man, I know you're her ex-husband and all, but I live with her now. And he's like, what? He's like, yeah, I'm the detective of her case and I moved in.
I'm just imagining, I don't know how this played out. I'm imagining Detective McBride like walking out on the back porch, cup of coffee in hand, bathrobe. And he just stares at Roy, and then he walks over to him.
He's like, hey, pal, it's mine now.
What are you doing? I'm looking for this maniac.
I'm looking for some bitch, too.
That makes no sense. What?
It gets a little more nonsensical, believe me. So in November of the same year, roughly 2 weeks after moving in with Cindy, Constable McBride claimed that he had received a mysterious phone call at Cindy's home while Cindy was there with him, but the caller did not say anything on the call. He initially believed that the call was made from an airport because he could hear a woman's voice in the background over a PA system, but the call was eventually traced to a currency exchange office right there in Richmond. I found no more information of that. Like, it's like they figured that out and then just left it there. Yeah.
We have CCTV in the 80s? 82?
I mean, but not, like, nowhere near what we have today.
I feel like that's worth at least going to this currency exchange and asking.
I mean, it was a payphone. Like, if there's no CCTV footage, you can never know who made the call.
That's fair.
Sorry, I don't think I mentioned it being a payphone. That's my apologies. It was a payphone at this currency exchange office.
That's okay, buddy.
So, like I said earlier, there are many, many more reports of events that Cindy claims she experienced, harassment, all that good stuff. However, I cannot cover them all. So, again, just a reminder, we're sticking to the ones that I think contain the most relevance to both the story and to understanding who Cindy is and, like, her, like, what she might have been thinking through all this.
Okay. Bunch of weird stuff happening to this recently divorced woman who is now dating the detective that is working her case. Yeah. That all stemmed from a home invasion.
Yeah, pretty much.
Perfect.
And this is all over the course of a month.
Oh my God.
Yeah, this all happens. Like, they divorce, they split, whatever. This stuff starts happening. McBride moves in. This all happened in like 23 or 24 days of the first encounter. Yeah,
God, dude.
So
this is bizarre.
Yeah.
None of this makes sense already.
Mm-mm. So on December 1st, Detective Constable McBride decided to move out of Cindy's home because no more events happened over the course of the 2 weeks. The only thing that happened while he was there was the phone call that came in and nobody saying anything on the other end. He and Cindy still remain a couple, and would often go on dates and discuss any updates with her case. Cindy reported a couple more events between the beginning and end of December in 1982. However, on January 27th of 1983, Agnes Woodcock.
Strong name.
Is that a good name? That's
Very
a good name.
strong name.
Agnes Woodcock.
Yeah.
That's good. Yeah.
It's badass.
Agnes Woodcock, who was a friend and co-worker of Cindy's, stopped by her house and found her lying unconscious in her backyard, with a nylon stocking tied around her neck. Once she regained consciousness, she told Agnes that someone attacked her from behind, forced her into the garage where another attacker was waiting. Then, the two strangled her and sexually assaulted her with a knife, and she claimed the sharp end of the knife was inserted into her. In the report. Once she was examined by doctors, however, they found no evidence of sexual assault. However, she remained adamant of her claim. It was at this point Cindy was asked to see a psychiatrist, which she declined to do, and instead visited a general medical doctor who also had counseling experience. I do not know the name of the doctor that she said or that she saw, but yeah.
But she did see a psychiatrist.
She saw a medical doctor
who
had experience with counseling, but she did not see a psychiatrist.
Yeah, I feel like there's going to be evidence of assault if they used a knife.
The sharp end of a knife.
Sharp end of a knife.
Yeah.
That's bizarre. I mean, unconscious
you don't,
in the backyard.
Yeah, and you don't want to not believe something like that because that's something to take very seriously. And it's a gray area even in today's world of, it's somebody's word against somebody else's. So it's difficult to make heads or tails of a lot of those situations.
Yeah.
Same situation here, but if you were sexually assaulted with a knife, there would be some sort of.
There's got to be so much damage.
Surely, yeah, and there was nothing.
Maybe if this happened, she was actually assaulted. Maybe her mind filled in the blanks.
Maybe, yeah.
Maybe that didn't happen, but in her mind, she was so overwhelmed. After the fact, after she calmed down, her brain was like, "This is what happened."
Yeah, could absolutely, yeah. And we'll get into it later whenever they run studies on like her mental health and things, what type of diagnoses might or might not be.
At this point, I find it difficult to believe she did that. I'm not saying she couldn't do this to herself.
Mm-hmm.
Couldn't like make herself pass out in the backyard. I'm not saying she couldn't do that. I don't think she would, because what do you gain from that? Attention?
Maybe, yeah. I don't know.
I feel like this was someone else. And
I think so.
Again, her brain just filled in the blanks from a traumatic event.
Could have, yeah. I mean, we'll never know, like unless the attacker steps forward. So.
Yeah. Ooh, is that a?
No. That was not.
Okay.
No, that was not a peek into the future or anything.
Okay.
So at this point, Cindy decided it was in her best interest to move. So on February 1st, which is less than a week after the attack, she moved to a different house in West Vancouver, where these events continued to happen. Less than 4 days after moving, Cindy received a letter reading, quote, "Run, rabbit, run. I'll show you how fucking good I am. Soon, bang, you are dead," end quote. The phone calls also kept coming, so Cindy decided to once again, not even 2 months later, to relocate.
Damn.
Yeah, so she's moved twice over, and I feel like this was kind of where, whenever I was doing the outline, if you're doing this to yourself, are you going to put yourself in a position to have to move to what, you're going to your third location to live at in 3 months?
It's expensive to move.
It's also challenging to move all your stuff.
Yeah.
I think that's a large length to go to if you're going to do this to yourself. Like, if you're doing this to yourself, I don't think you're going to move 2 times in 3 months.
I'm developing a theory, but I want to save it till the end.
Okay. And, I mean, if you're going to save it to the end, it may change.
Okay.
Just heads up. So throughout May and June, she continued to receive these harassing phone calls. Also during this time, Roy Makepeace began trying to reconcile their relationship. He spent most of the summer trying to win her back. He would buy her gifts and make attempts to take her on dates. He even paid for her plane ticket to take a trip to Indonesia so she could visit her brother, who was stationed there. However, upon returning from this trip overseas, her torment continued. It's at this point where Cindy begins trying to conceal her identity. And this is what I found, I never saw a picture of it, but she apparently painted her car a different color. She dyed her hair, changed up her clothing style, and it's here where she changed her last name from Hack to James. So she's been Cindy Hack this whole time up until now. She never did change her last name to Makepeace whenever her and Roy got married. So she was always Cindy Hack. But now she's legally changed her name to Cindy James to try and conceal her identity.
Wait, did you say her and Roy never got married?
Yeah, they got married. They were married for like 15 years.
Oh, I think I misheard you. But she never changed her name to Makepeace?
No, she didn't.
That's odd, right?
Weird, yeah. I don't know why I couldn't really find why she never changed her last name to Makepeace, but she never did.
Maybe she was proud of Hack because of her dad.
Yeah, maybe so.
In any case, I don't think that matters.
Not at all. Well, it might. I don't know. She then hired a private investigator by the name of Ozzy Cabin. Cabin?
Caban. Ozzy Caban.
Ozzy Cabin. Yeah, we'll go Cabin.
It's cool.
Pretty good name.
Mm.
We got some good names in this one.
Yeah.
To assist her in finding her attacker. She also began wearing a panic button that would immediately contact police if pressed, and she kept pepper spray on her at all times and never went anywhere alone when she could help it.
Okay.
Between October and November of 1983, Cindy discovered the remains of 3 different cats in her garden. Each cat had apparently been strangled and had been bound with rope. It's at this point where she begins writing in her diary that she believes Roy Makepeace might actually be the one behind the attacks. I do not know why she changed her mind, but it was once the cats started showing up, she began to question Makepeace in her diary. Thinking that not that he is behind it, but that he potentially could be.
Okay.
Yeah. So, I'm sorry, were you going to say something?
I mean, well, you know what? We'll save everything till the end. We'll have a good session at the end.
Oh, there will be plenty to talk about. So now we're going to move to 1984. So about 2 years after the attacks began. So it's been going on 2 of the 7 at this point. On January 30th of 1984, private investigator Caban overheard a strange sequence of noises on the two-way radio that he had given Cindy, which prompted him to go to her house and check on her. Once he got there, he found her lying unconscious on her living room floor with a knife stabbed through her hand and a note stuck to the knife. The note had been crafted with letters from a magazine and read, quote, "You must die, cunt." Now you must die, cunt. Caban took Cindy to the hospital, where Cindy said the only thing she remembered was a man coming to the front door, hitting her over the head with a blunt object. She also stated that once she was on the ground, she remembered the attacker inserting a needle into her arm. Doctors did find a needle mark, but no traces of drugs were found in her system. And even afterwards, Cindy took a polygraph test, which came back showing no deception.
Fuck me, man.
Yeah.
This is so bizarre.
It's almost like in a super bizarre way that she and somebody else are working this together. You know what I mean? It's like maybe she and just some random man are doing this with each other.
But for what?
I don't know.
What do you gain from this?
I don't know. But like logically speaking, how else do you explain some of this?
I mean,
because at first it looked like, oh, they're like she's faking this. Now all of a sudden, she clearly has been hit on the head and knocked out. There's a needle mark in her arm, even though there's no like traces of anything found in her system. Then she took a polygraph, and it came up showing no deception. Not that it was inconclusive; it showed no deception at all.
Okay, so here's the thing: is there proof that she was knocked unconscious, or is that what she said?
Well, other than Caban finding her laying there unconscious.
Like, were there marks? Did she have like a welt?
Yeah, she had. Well, I would assume she had a big bump on her head. Now that I don't know.
So
she could have just laid down on the floor and.
Here's my thing.
Yeah, it's doable.
As brutal as all of this is, if you wanted to, for whatever reason, don't do this. You could do everything that has happened to her so far.
You could, yeah.
Like, to yourself.
It makes no sense whatsoever. But you are correct. It is possible. Playing devil's advocate here,
She could have done all this to herself.
She could have done all
I'm
this.
not
to
saying
herself.
she did, but
Yeah, I'm not
nothing at this point can you definitively say
Yeah.
someone for sure did this to her.
Because again, we're 2 years into these events. There has been not a single piece of evidence found that there is another attacker involved in this.
Yeah.
Not a boot print, not hair fiber, like nothing. So, I mean, we'll save our judgment for the end.
Okay.
Or at least I will. You're free to do what you want.
I'm developing something. I want to hear more before I share it with you.
Okay. So after this, Cindy went to police and told her that she thought Roy Makepeace was her attacker. At this point, detectives began questioning Makepeace heavily. However, he remained insistent that he had no involvement. In fact, Roy seemed to be stuck on the idea of the mafia being behind the whole thing. This theory doesn't go very far.
Did either one of them have mafia ties?
So I didn't put
Roy's
it in
from
here.
South Africa, no?
I didn't put it in here because it didn't carry much weight for me. But apparently, the pediatric wing of the hospital she worked at had a lot of like orphaned kids from mafia parents who had been murdered. And like that's the only connection. But,
So are the kids doing all of this?
well, no, they just think that the mafia, I don't know, maybe thinks that they're abusing these kids, and I don't know. I have no idea. I didn't read much into it because it honestly just did not. Like if the mafia wanted to torment, they would kill you. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Mafia doesn't just have dudes running around tormenting people with phone calls and throwing rocks through your window. I wouldn't guess. I mean,
So the orphans who were orphaned by the hands of the mafia.
yeah, and are now being cared for by these pediatric, like, whatever you call them. That's not an orphanage, but it was a place for, like, troubled kids. Yeah,
I don't know about that one, Roy. That doesn't make much sense, buddy.
Yeah, so this was Roy's claim. He even went as far as to writing Cindy's father a 6-page note outlining this theory in, like, crazy detail. And he strongly urged the family to pursue this angle.
That's what I would do if I were trying to stalk someone.
Yeah. Throw them off your scent.
Yeah. Blame the orphans.
Right.
That's what I would do.
So, clearly, it was at this point Cindy's father, Otto, demanded that Roy Makepeace cease all contact with his daughter.
Yeah.
Which is not surprising in the slightest.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It makes sense.
Mm-hmm. So over the summer of 1984, Cindy's harassment began approaching a peak. On June 18th, she called investigator Caban in a panic, and he sped over to her home and found her in her garden, where she claimed someone had broken into her home. Caban then found Cindy's dog, Heidi, hiding in the basement with a note tied to the dog's neck that read, "Happy birthday." I don't think it was anybody's birthday. Don't know why the note was tied around the dog, but...
Okay.
Heidi was found cowering in the corner of the basement, bound with the same cloth found on the dead cats in the previous year. Given the extent of the damage to Cindy's dog, Caban believed that there was no possible way Cindy was falsifying her claims or orchestrating them. I don't know the damage to the dog. I couldn't find.
Okay.
There's a lot.
That's what I was about to ask.
I'm going to assume it was enough to, like, justify Caban believing she's not behind this. Or maybe that's just his way of staying on her payroll. I don't know.
If she's in the garden, did she not scream for help? Did she not...
Well, I think she didn't want, like, because she was in the garden and she heard the attacker break in.
And then she laid down in the garden?
Maybe
Did I
she's
miss
just
something?
like, no, she just like...
Found her in the garden. So we don't know if she was like, I don't know. She wasn't like unconscious in the garden.
No,
she was just in the garden.
She was just in the garden and she hears the attacker break in. And now, another thing I thought of too, if she's willing, like say she is making all this up, that means she's willing to go as far as to kill cats, right?
Mm-hmm.
But she won't kill her own dog. Like it would make sense for the attacker to kill the dog, right?
Because, I mean, you killed 2 cats already. Why would you care about killing the dog?
Yeah, why would you care about her dog?
Yeah.
So
that's interesting.
So over the next few weeks, more calls to the house came in. More dead cats were showing up in Cindy's garden, and on one occasion, 2 men showed up to her door dressed as police officers. However, once she radioed Caban, the 2 men fled. Even one of Cindy's co-workers claimed to have received a call at work from the apparent attacker saying, quote, "Get rid of that pig." On the night of July 9th, Cindy's mother, Tilly, decided to stay the night at Cindy's house with her. In the middle of the night, Tilly woke up to Heidi barking and found Cindy in the living room checking the windows and doors in a very paranoid manner. A few moments later, the doorbell rang, yet neither woman decided to see if anyone was there. This shook up Tilly a lot, and she began urging Cindy to move out of the house, considering all of the things that have happened up until this point.
Nothing happened when there was someone else in the house.
Right.
She found Cindy checking doors and windows.
The only thing that has happened in front of another person is the doorbell ring. Nothing happened when McBride was in the house. Nothing has happened.
McBride got the call.
Well, like, who's to say the phone didn't just ring? Because nobody said anything, right? Like, when he picked up, there was nobody on the other end.
Yeah, and it doesn't necessarily mean anything, I guess.
Mm-mm. So I don't know at this point, because it seems awfully possible that someone's doing this to her, but just covering their tracks. It also seems awfully possible that she's just doing this to herself.
I suppose if you're watching her closely enough, and you're obviously very dedicated, you're not going to do anything in front of another person.
Right. If you're watching her as closely as to know her work schedule, like even to know where she works, all that, you're going to know if somebody's there. Like if you're...
Yeah, you would have to know her very well.
Yeah.
To avoid doing anything in front of anyone else.
Yeah.
Which is what an ex-husband
what an ex-husband would do.
Would have knowledge of.
Yeah. And I mean anybody, really. Like the people that live in her basement. Like,
well, yeah,
they would know. I mean, they were obviously vetted and clearly
involved, does she still live? She doesn't live in that house anymore. She's moved.
That's true.
Three times since
That's
then.
true. That's true. So for the remainder of 1984, nothing changed. Multiple incidents, phone calls, doorbells ringing, and the occasional dead cat still showing up around her property. So we'll fast forward to 1985, where Cindy agrees to be placed under hypnosis and questioned. While she was hypnotized, she confessed that she witnessed her ex-husband, Roy Makepeace, murder a man and woman and dismember their bodies with an axe. According to Cindy, again, while under hypnosis, Makepeace smeared the blood of all these victims on her face and on her body and then disposed of them. Now then, before I read this next sentence, I don't necessarily believe that hypnosis is effective. I think Cindy, I don't necessarily believe that a person can be hypnotized. And that may just be naive or ignorant of me, but without the use of medication, I mean.
I suppose I don't know enough about the process to really say one way or the other. It seems ridiculous.
I'm picturing the old, hang a clock in front of somebody's face and it ticks back and forth.
SpongeBob.
You were getting very sleepy. You know, that type thing.
I mean, that's the gist of what I know. So if that's hypnosis, nah, that doesn't work.
I think, medically induced, yeah. I mean, there's, you can be put in a foggy state and say whatever somebody wants you to say. I know that's possible.
Mm-hmm.
So
okay. I mean,
however,
that doesn't make a lot of sense either.
However,
it is weird that the whole what she just described, it's very in depth and detailed.
Let me read this last sentence real quick.
Okay.
However, it was later discovered that Cindy's sister Melanie was with them on this trip and had zero recollection of any of this happening. So,
yeah.
Either she wasn't under hypnosis and just made the story up, or she really was hypnotized and is just remembering something that happened maybe at a different time, or that didn't happen at all. I don't know. I wish people could see us, because there's going to be a big pause of silence right there. We're just staring at each other. We're just well.
I mean, okay, let me sum up what I meant with my stare just there.
Okay.
None of this makes any sense whatsoever.
No.
There are certainly things that have happened that you would hope a sane person wouldn't do to themselves or to animals or to others. Mm-hmm. But that being said, she's certainly showing some signs of mental illness at this point. For me.
100%. I mean, if not, let's say all of this is truly happening to her, Like, she has no control over any of these events.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe Roy Makepeace really did kill 2 people with an axe at some point in time. It just wasn't the trip she thought it was. At this point, it's easy to paint her crazy, right? Like,
Yeah, easily.
but it's also really difficult not to paint her crazy.
You
And again, she's dead, so I don't want to make it look like we're
Yeah.
already bashing on her, because my mind isn't made up, to be honest.
Yeah.
Like, I know how this ends, and I'm still kind of on the fence about it.
At this point, a lot of horrible things have happened to her, most of which, as fucked up as it is, she could have done to herself.
Yeah.
And now you have this little piece of information here that I'm feeling pretty confident in saying didn't happen. I mean, I don't know Roy Makepeace, but if she's saying it happened here and at this time, her sister, who was also there at that time, is saying that didn't happen.
Well, she even went as far, and the reason I left it out, obviously, is because it's not true, so I didn't feel the need to mention it, because I figured that last sentence would give us the closure we needed for this this part of the story.
Mm-hmm.
She went as far as to mention, like, where she was when this happened, like, geographically, and there was no, like, it just nothing lined up. Like, they went up to this where she thought it happened, and there wasn't even a resort there, like, just stuff like that, where she's making all this stuff up seemingly on the fly, and nothing's connecting. So
Poor Cindy.
yeah,
One way or the other. Poor Cindy.
yeah, I know. So after this, in late June of 1985, Cindy was involuntarily admitted to the psychiatric unit at Lionsgate Hospital in Vancouver after she attempted to commit suicide by overdosing on prescription pills, though she later stated that she had no intentions of killing herself. She did not give an explanation as to why she took a lethal amount of prescription pills, though. After her stay at Lionsgate, she agreed to let the RCMP wiretap a phone conversation between her and Roy. During this conversation, she accused Roy of being the root of her problems, going to all the extraordinary lengths he has gone to commit these acts against her, and to ask him to explain the memory she has of him murdering 2 people with an axe. Makepeace obviously denied all involvement, as well as denied the double murder, and called Cindy, quote, an insane person, and told her that she was creating everything as part of a revenge fantasy.
Okay, but she divorced him, correct?
Yeah.
What is she getting revenge for?
So he goes on to say so I didn't put it in here. I probably should have, but he goes on to say that it's a revenge fantasy against her father, because apparently at some point during their marriage, she confessed to him that her father used to sexually abuse all the children.
I feel like that was pertinent information, Ben.
Well, it isn't, because the rest of the kids denied it.
Okay.
So
okay. Well,
there's,
yeah.
there's 6 of them.
Yeah.
One of them says this happened. The other 5 say absolutely not. Like,
But,
sure, he beat us a little bit, but... And maybe the dad singled out Cindy and all this, but Cindy made the claim that he did it to all of them.
But what are you getting back at Roy for?
Again, we have to put ourselves in the mind of Cindy to get answers here.
Can't do that.
Yeah,
I don't.
there's something...
I don't even know where to start, really.
Yeah. After this conversation, the RCMP ordered Cindy to be under 24-hour surveillance for a period of 2 weeks. During this 2-week period, nothing unusual happened, so the surveillance was terminated.
That's interesting.
It is interesting. It seems like every time somebody comes around
Yep.
or that eyes are on her, nothing is happening.
We are 3 years deep, pretty much nonstop. Something is happening to her, but the one time she's watched for 2 whole weeks,
Right.
nothing.
Mm-hmm. And, I mean, sometimes there are weeks or maybe even like a month or 2 where nothing will happen. Because you got to think over the course of, 7 years, give or take 90 or to 100 events happened.
That's true.
You're averaging maybe 1 a month.
That's true.
So, I mean, it's possible that it was just unlucky that nobody ever saw it, but, I mean, and we'll get to it later, that somebody does witness an event. So, yeah, there is a witness coming up.
All right.
Yep.
3 years later.
Yeah. So, it's after this that they terminate the surveillance, and this is where police and investigators begin to believe Cindy may be behind the whole thing. and I said here I haven't really touched up on it, but we kind of deduced it ourselves. That Cindy might be behind it. So in the fall of '85, a few months after this, Dr. Anthony Marcus was requested by Carol Halliday of the RCMP to interview Cindy and examine the various case files revolving around her. I don't know who Carol Halliday is. I just know they are an officer of the RCMP.
Assuming some kind of psychiatrist, maybe?
Probably, yeah. So Dr. Marcus determined after his examination that Cindy was suffering from dissociative identity disorder, or as we now know it, multiple personality disorder,
Okay.
which he believes to have stemmed from a traumatic childhood incident, though this claim was never backed up. So now we're going to jump to 1986. And again, sound like a broken record here, but I'm skipping over incidents that have taken place. We're just keeping the ones that I guess I personally feel are relevant to the remainder of this episode. So in early 1986, some of Cindy's friends began to start staying with her throughout the week to make her feel a little more comfortable. And on April 16th, Cindy woke up two of her friends that were staying with her, Agnes and Tom Woodcock, have made a reappearance,
Hell yeah.
who I mentioned earlier, stating that she heard a commotion somewhere in the house. As they were searching, they found that a fire had broken out in the basement. And when Tom attempted to call for help, he found that the phone lines were dead. So at this point, Tom runs out of the house and across the street to try and, wake up the neighbors, use their phone. When he got out to the road, he saw a man standing in the distance, like watching this happen. And whenever Tom tried to approach the man, he ran. So this is our first verifiable, witness testimony of a perpetrator.
Someone that is not Cindy has seen something happen.
Yes. According to Tom Woodcock.
Woodcock.
So, take it for what you will. And at this point, do you not believe two people, or do you believe that there is a perpetrator?
Maybe there's a perpetrator who, we floated this idea already. If you're watching this woman that closely, you know her routine, you know what you can and can't get away with. That makes sense.
Yeah. So after this event, Cindy was again admitted to a psychiatric facility when she stopped eating and began claiming her life was no longer worth living. Doctors believe Cindy was now suicidal and had her placed under 24-hour observation. And upon completion of a very comprehensive psychological exam, the doctors concluded that Cindy was eligible for release about 2 weeks later. So they let her go. Which, obviously you can't hold her there against her will, but...
Yeah.
Over the course of the next 2 years, Cindy's harassment continued. There were broken windows, shattered porch lights, letters warning her of her own demise, and even another dead cat. Each time...
I'm sorry. Stop buying fucking cats.
Well, no, she's not buying the cats. They're just...
the
cats are just
I've
showing
misunderstood
up.
this entire time.
No, yeah, the cats are just showing up.
I thought our cats were being killed. He was buying new cats.
No. These are just cats that are... dead cats that are showing up. She has no affiliation with the cat.
All right, Cindy, I apologize.
Yeah. Each time, Cindy would phone the RCMP and nothing would be found. Then, in April of 1989, the RCMP made the conclusion that Cindy was in fact inventing these incidents herself, and she was not the victim of a violent stalker. Up until this point, the RCMP had responded to over 85 reports of burglary, harassment, assault, and everything else we've covered so far for Cindy, and yet nothing, not a single thing, has been found. On a couple different occasions, sniffer dogs would be used to track the scent of the person or persons that she claimed to have been in the area at the time of the attacks, and the dogs would not appear to pick up any other scent than Cindy's. The RCMP estimates that they have spent roughly $1.5 million over that 7-year time frame investigating her claims. Obviously, Cindy was very upset when she heard this news, and she even went as far as to file a complaint against the RCMP for being dismissive. So 7 years, not a shred of evidence outside of Tom Woodcock seeing the man standing out. But, dude, they brought in sniffer dogs immediately after she claimed these attacks were happening. And these dogs did not get a hint of anything else, other than the people who would be there that were still there.
So the only testimony we have corroborating any of the claims she's made is Tom Woodcock seeing a man in the distance.
Yeah, and I mean, then you
late
have
at night.
her mom with the doorbell ringing, and then you have McBride with the phone. But again,
Yeah.
there was nobody. Like the doorbell just rang. Like
Let's really think about Tom Woodcock's encounter,
Yeah.
right? If I am, for whatever reason, maybe I want to take a late, midnight stroll. Maybe I'm taking my dog out. I see a man running at me at night, right?
Well, it was more of like a trying to flag him down. I mean, the man was standing like close, and he was watching the house. Like he was just standing there. He wasn't just out for a stroll. Tom explains it as he walks out. He sees the man just standing, staring at the house. And then as Tom was walking up to him, the man just about faced and booked it. Obviously, Tom still has to focus on the matter at hand, so he goes on to the neighbor's house and calls for help.
I mean, I'd probably run away if I saw a man running towards me. I'd run away if I saw a man running towards me in the middle of the night.
I agree. I would too. But at the same time, what are you doing, out in the middle of the night? Which that's not crazy, I don't guess. But what are you doing staring at a house?
Well, see, again, we have Tom Woodcock's word on this.
That's true. Yeah.
How many times have me and you both said on this podcast, anybody can make up anything?
You're right.
Everybody's seen Bigfoot. Everybody has a ghost story.
And in the heat of the moment, maybe that was just a person walking down the street. Tom runs out of the house in a hurry, like, "Oh, help! You got to help me! Yeah. There's a stalker," and this person just hears "help, stalker," and they just take off. Yeah. They're like, "I don't want to be involved in this."
I hate to say it for Sydney, nothing up until this point has me believing that there actually is a stalker.
I hate to say it too, and I'm having a really hard time being on her side with things, because if she's not making this up, this is an extremely intelligent attacker.
Yeah.
Who has somehow found a way to even hide his scent from sniffer dogs.
Yeah.
Which we've touched on sniffer dogs before too, like the validity of
can't be an exact science.
Yeah. So I don't know. So now we'll get into her disappearance.
Okay.
On May 25th, 1989, at around 4 p.m., Cindy went by her work to pick up her paycheck. While she was there, she spoke with one of her co-workers, who later reported that Cindy seemed to be in pretty good spirits, even informing the co-worker that she hadn't experienced any suspicious attacks for the last several weeks. Keep in mind, Cindy's co-workers all believe that she's not making this up.
Okay.
They think it's happening to her because they've received the phone calls at this point at her work.
I mean, unless you've been accused by her of doing something, or you're one of the cops that have been investigating for 7 years, you don't really have a reason not to believe her.
Yeah, I mean, you just be like, man,
that's very unfortunate. I'm sorry to hear that.
You have a very dedicated attacker. This has been going on for this long, and they can't catch him.
Yeah.
So Cindy was last seen a few hours after this, grocery shopping at a Safeway supermarket and then visiting the Bank of Montreal at the Blundell Shopping Center. According to her deposit slip, her check was stamped at the bank at 7:59 p.m. on May 25th.
Well, it's late bank hours.
It is. And it's in a shopping mall, which I found weird as well.
Yeah.
So that night, Tom and Agnes were supposed to stay with Cindy again, but when they didn't hear from her, they became worried. They went to her house at around 10 p.m. where they found the house locked up and her car gone. After learning that she had been grocery shopping and at the bank inside the shopping center, they went to try and find her. They found her car in the parking lot, but found no signs of Cindy. This was immediately reported to the RCMP, where, again, almost immediately, given her long history with the force, a missing persons investigation was started. Inside her car, the RCMP found blood, some groceries, and a birthday present for one of her friend's son. Cindy's wallet and personal items were found underneath the car on the ground. A search of her home turned up nothing. Everything appeared to be in order. So Cindy is missing.
Okay, so here's my thing. If you have a stalker who's that dedicated, right, they have to be like an experienced criminal or know something about being a criminal.
I think they have to know something about law enforcement, too.
So why are you dumping her personal items underneath the car? Why would you not take those wherever you took her?
What if they're just trying to create as much oddity as possible?
To make it seem like she's bullshitting.
Yeah, like you're doing this, but you're doing it in a way where nobody ever sees you. So you attack in the middle of the night, or you attack when you know nobody's around, or when you know there's no footage, right? She never gets attacked at work because there's a bunch of people around.
Right.
She never gets attacked whenever there's people at her house because this person knows there's people at her house. So
But now she's attacked at a shopping center.
But it's after hours. It's dark.
That's true. That's fair. Yeah.
So, and it's, a van pulls up, snatches her, and rolls out. Because, I mean, what's she going to do? Like, just take out walking? Like, somebody's going to see her if she just walks away.
Yeah, that's true.
So, I mean, again, it just depends on how you look at this. Like, you could look at this either way, and it makes perfect sense. So, several days after Cindy was reported missing, her life insurance agent informed the police that he had received a call from a man claiming to be her father, who was inquiring about her policy. Once the agent informed the man that he couldn't give this information out over the phone, the man hung up. Later, when asked about this phone call, Cindy's father said he knew nothing about it. So that I found extremely interesting.
Yeah, you want to know who placed that call? I feel.
Yeah.
I don't think it was her father.
Well, no, Dad said he knew nothing about it.
I mean, he could have lied.
Well, yeah, but like, I mean, the dad. I don't. Well, yeah.
I mean, but okay. Look, the dad at this point probably a retired Royal Air Force veteran.
Yeah.
What do you need a life insurance policy for?
Yeah. Well, first, like you would hope the dog that Cindy's alive. Like,
yeah, that's true.
She's just missing at this point. Like, she's nothing.
Whoever placed this call is who took Cindy.
I think probably knew. So now you're on board with somebody taking her.
Well, at this point.
Okay. So, we'll fast forward a couple weeks to June 8th, where a municipal worker found Cindy's body in the backyard of an abandoned house in Richmond. She was hog-tied with a rope behind her back and a black nylon stocking tied tightly around her neck. This area was extremely populated, with very heavy foot traffic passing by every day, and the RCMP also discovered in spray-painted letters on the side of an oil tank right there in the yard by her body that read, quote, "Some bitch died here." And then the spray-painted line ran from that remark all the way back to the ground on her body, and then the spray-painted line was circled around her body.
Can't hog-tie yourself.
We'll get to that as well.
Oh, can you hog-tie yourself?
We will get to that.
Okay.
Okay, I'm going to hold my tongue. I promise you we'll get to it. Cindy was reportedly tied so tight that two of her fingers had scraped each other down to the bone.
Oh, there's no fucking way you do that to yourself.
We'll see.
Oh, you motherfucker.
Her autopsy revealed that Cindy had died of multiple drug intoxication, which is just a mixing of drugs. And this is quoted from the coroner, enormous amounts of morphine, diazepam, and flurazepam. Her toxicology report showed that she had what was considered to be at least 10 times the lethal amount of just morphine. Based on the examination of her stomach contents, toxicologist Heather Dinn reported that Cindy orally ingested 20 30-milligram tablets of flurazepam and numerous, an unknown amount of diazepam. Like, they couldn't determine the exact number of those. It was not determined the method for which the morphine had been administered, though needle marks were found between her fingers. Her autopsy also revealed that her remains exhibited lividity, which is the settling of blood after you die, which is visible on your skin. So, essentially, when somebody dies, if you die like on your left side, all the blood is going to pool in your left side as you just lay there, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, her body had been found lying on her right side. Like, she was hogtied lying on her right side. However, there was evidence of like lividity or blood pooling on the left side of her body, which would suggest that she had been moved after she died.
Okay. Can't do that to yourself.
You cannot do that to yourself for certain. There's no way to fake that.
So, this Richmond, was it a bad neighborhood, or?
I mean, it's the neighborhood she was grew up in. So I wouldn't think so. I don't think it's a bad neighborhood. I mean, crime rate's pretty low. This murder was hit it crazy like this.
They don't get murder a lot in
No,
Richmond.
for sure
Okay.
not. Yeah. In the spring of 1990, after Cindy's memorial service, an official inquest was underway. And an inquest, I didn't know this, maybe I'm just, I don't know, stupid. Inquest is determining the cause of death for somebody after they've died, if it's in like unclear circumstances. So, the inquest consisted of 5 jurors and testimonies from over 80 witnesses. This inquest lasted a total of 40 days and was the longest and most expensive in British Columbia's history. The following are the results of this inquest. Do you have a comment you want to say there?
I feel like this inquest, the 5 jurors, it's essentially what a medical examiner does in America?
Well, the inquest, not necessarily like the cause of death, but like how did she die?
Like the pathology behind
Right,
why
like
someone
was
is now
like
dead.
pretty much trying, or you're determining was this suicide, homicide, like accidental, whatever. Like you're trying to determine how she died. Not necessarily. I mean, we know she died of an overdose.
So the police outsourced their work to 5 jurors.
Well, I think this is just how they do it in Canada.
Okay.
I think this is their legal process.
These jurors, are they...
I mean, it's of the state. Like it's the same as like you have a jury in the U.S. You go to court. There's a jury.
Wow. That seems backwards. Is it not?
What do you mean?
You're just going to pick 5 random people to figure out how this lady died?
That's how all crime is solved here in the U.S. too.
But then you have to build a case.
That's what I'm about to go over.
Doesn't make any sense.
Where
Like,
are you lost?
if someone dies in America, you don't immediately go to court, pick 5 people and say, all right, you guys, figure out what happened to her. Like, the police have to do an investigation. I mean,
Yeah,
you're
and
talking
then-
about testimonies and all these other things. That's what police do, right?
Well, yeah. I mean, like this just may be a different way of wording it, but like essentially what has happened is they have no idea how Cindy died. Like, they don't know the circumstances as to how she got to where she did. Was she forced to take the drugs? Did she do it herself? The police have no idea. They can't make this determination themselves. So they take it to the court system, put it in the hands of the court. Like, I mean, what's the process here for if a body pops out over there in the street, nobody knows how they died? Like, what's...
Well, the police do the job, or we expect them to do their job to the fullest of their extent.
What if they can't determine...
Then it goes to a cold case. You don't know. You don't just make up something to say we solved it.
Yeah, and maybe they don't solve it. I haven't got to the end yet, so I don't know.
Okay.
We'll see.
Well, bottom line, you shouldn't. Okay. For instance, you just mentioned body pops up over there, right?
Mm-hmm.
You pick 5 people from around here, and you tell them figure out what happened.
Well, it wouldn't be people from around here. It's got to be 5 uninvolved parties.
That doesn't make much sense to me.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't
Maybe
make
I'm
a ton of
overthinking
sense. It doesn't make a lot of sense to do it this way. You got to think this was 35 years ago, and in a small Canadian town. So you think 35 years ago, right here where we live. How do you think if a woman showed up, hogtied, and overdosed on prescription pills? Like, obviously, we're not going to have the means to figure out how she died here.
Yeah.
So you're going to take that somewhere else. Like you're going to
You're
call
gonna-
up a higher power.
You're going to involve the FBI.
Yeah, you're going to get the FBI or maybe a higher court system or whoever. Because I mean,
Yeah.
the FBI can't help you either. They're not going to be able to tell you how
But,
she
I
died.
mean, you can't go to court unless you have someone who you believe killed the person.
Maybe that's what they're trying to find. I mean, it's so bizarre and unique. Like there probably isn't something in place to take care of this. Like they probably don't know how to go about solving this. Would be my guess. Like that. And I don't know. Obviously, we don't live in Canada, so I don't know their law or anything. But
That just seems backwards. That doesn't make a lot of sense to me.
yeah, I mean, so what else would you have?
I mean, for as many cold cases as we have, I would rather it. Of course, I can say this because I don't have anyone I love who is in the cold case file right now, but I would rather it go unsolved than 5 jurors to just come up with something.
Well, no, I mean they're not going to come up with something. Like this is just how they're going to try. Like I said, maybe like they may not have gotten anywhere with this. This is just instead of it being the police, it is 5 jurors with testimonies. They're going to determine how she died. And if they can't get there, then I guess it just...
I'm still on this ride with you, but this part specifically doesn't make much sense to me.
I agree. I don't think this is good. I too would rather it just go as a cold case and then maybe we reopen it if more evidence comes to light than to take it this way. But we'll get into what was found. So as for Roy Makepeace, the 2 recorded phone calls between him and Cindy were presented as evidence, though ultimately proved nothing in court. Makepeace testified that Cindy's family abused her when she was little, which led Cindy to lying out this revenge fantasy, even claiming that one of Cindy's brothers sexually assaulted her when they were younger. Not the father, the brother. I apologize. I misspoke earlier.
Okay.
And again, all the siblings denied this as well. And then the brother that was accused denied it also. Makepeace also claimed that the RCMP tried to frame him and make him look like the guilty party. Obviously, this went nowhere and Roy Makepeace was allowed to leave. As for Cindy's family, just a few days after Cindy's death, her parents found a hoard of various medications in her house, things like sedatives, antipsychotic pills, and painkillers, which they claimed to have flushed down the toilet. Yeah. Her sister Melanie found a glass cutter in Cindy's purse, along with a medical syringe kit, a urinary catheter, and saline solution.
Can you ingest morphine through your urinary tract? Because we know that she had morphine in her system, but they found no needle marks.
Well, I mean, you can take it orally too. They don't know how she administered it because she had it, like she was either injected with it or she took like the oral, like pill form of morphine. They just don't know because there was so much of it.
Okay.
They just couldn't determine. Jurors were then presented with the graphic footage of Cindy's corpse as it was discovered in the backyard of the abandoned house, as well as numerous accounts detailing the state of her mind and the days leading up to her disappearance and death. There was testimony from every doctor that treated Cindy over the years, and from her friends and from her family. Here's where it gets, and we're getting toward the end here. This is where it gets kind of fuzzy to me. And I do not agree whatsoever with what I'm about to say.
Okay.
A study was performed to determine whether or not Cindy could have bound herself in the manner that she was found and also administer the drugs to herself. It was determined, after a demonstration by not expert Robert Chisnall, that theoretically it was possible for Cindy to have given herself the drugs and then hogtied herself in the position she was found before the drugs took effect.
So Cindy is on the same level as a not expert.
See, that's where my mind went. You're telling me, I mean, maybe she was. I don't know. Like, we can't say for sure. We can't do anything to find out that information.
I feel like we can say for sure she's not a not expert.
I mean, we can't say for sure. Like,
I feel like
we can be pretty confident, but we certainly can't say for 100. I mean, dude, there's a lot about Cindy that apparently nobody knows.
Yeah, fair.
I mean, if she's willing, say she did plan all this, maybe she was willing to go as far as to learn to hogtie herself.
I mean, you administer all of these drugs to yourself. You have maybe 5 minutes before you start feeling the effects.
Estimated 3 minutes before the morphine takes about 3 minutes if administered through a pill. If it's administered through the needle, it is almost instantly.
I don't give the, like, she was tied enough to where her fingers rub together to the bone. I don't give that much weight because if she can tie herself together, she can tie herself together as tight as she possibly can.
Well, and you got to think too, like she could have tied herself not super tight, and this is going to be kind of graphic, but as her body started to decompose, maybe the rope just kind of started cutting into her fingers a little bit.
Yeah.
I mean, that's pretty out there. That's maybe not even relevant, but it's just a thought. But yes, I just don't agree with the fact that they ended up determining like it was possible that she did this to herself.
If she was a not expert.
Yeah, because the not expert, apparently it was a big demonstration where Robert Chisnall was timed, and then I think right at 2 minutes, he was able to tie himself into the exact same position that Cindy was found.
What if they just left him there?
Well, I mean, he probably could untie himself.
It's all a prank. This is all a prank to get Robert Chisnall in a hog tie.
What? I don't know. They're like, I got you, Rob.
No, this makes no sense.
No, it doesn't.
Everything about her death points to someone doing this to her.
Yeah.
Nothing leading up to it would make you believe that.
Well, let me get through this last piece, and then we will deliberate.
Okay.
The inquest ended on May 25th, 1990, exactly 1 year to the day after Cindy disappeared. After extensive deliberation, the jury was unable to determine whether her cause of death was a suicide, homicide, or accidental. Ultimately, it was ruled that Cindy died of an unknown or unexplainable event, and the case was closed.
So, before I ask, we can confirm she died from the overdose.
Yes.
So no like blunt force trauma, no gunshot.
She 100% died from the mix of drugs in her system. There
So-
was no other.
Why was there blood in her car?
Don't know.
Was it her blood?
Don't know.
They didn't test the blood.
Well, this was before, like,
1990, 1989.
yeah. Was this not before? When did like DNA testing come with blood? I'm pretty sure it was her blood. I thought I said that. Maybe I didn't.
No, now we look foolish.
I'm gonna say it was her blood. I think I said it was her blood.
In any case, she has no like wounds,
Mm-mm.
no
Well, I
blunt
mean, you
force
gotta think
trauma,
she's
no
been dead.
gunshot.
Well, they found her like she had been dead for 2 weeks. Like she had began to decompose,
Okay.
which there was no immediately obvious trauma or any other type of like way that they think she could have died. Like it was like 100% certainty she died of an overdose of a mix of the pills found in her, or the medication found in her body.
That's you give your belief, and then I'll give you mine.
I don't want to speak ill of the dead. I don't also think she was working alone. I think she had an accomplice.
Okay.
I don't think there's a possible way for Cindy to have done all this by herself, to herself, and then it ended the way it did. I think there was an accomplice that wanted to help her do whatever she was trying to do from getting this. Or maybe it started out as she was being, like, all this stuff was happening. I don't know, man. Honestly, I don't think she did it to herself straight up. I don't think she could have hogtied herself and then, because like, the blood pooling thing. That's the part that's hung me up the most this entire story. Is she was found on her right side. However, there was evidence of blood pooling on the left side of her body, meaning she died, was left somewhere, and then she was moved.
Okay, so everything that happened to her leading up to her death, she could have done to herself.
Yeah.
Everything. Like nothing outside of Tom Woodcock seeing what he saw, which, again, that's unsubstantiated. That's what he's saying.
Yep.
Everything up until that point she could have done. Her getting hogtied makes no sense. I don't think she could have done that to herself.
I don't either. And I think, like, in the moment, you can teach yourself to do that, but she took an amount of medicine that, like, would quite literally kill an elephant.
Yeah.
And I don't think in the moment you take that much medicine, it's going to take you a minute and a half to swallow that many pills.
You have to be ready to go.
Yeah, you would have to be in a mindset of, okay, I only have a minute or two before I die. Like, I have to get this done.
What is the objective? What are you gaining from this?
I don't know. Maybe to, I don't know. I don't know what is gained because I don't. Obviously, I can't put myself in a mindset to think of an outcome that would be beneficial to me here. I don't think anybody can.
I don't think there is one.
Which why I don't really think Cindy was either. I think if she didn't have an accomplice, which is a pretty out there theory, but honestly, any theory makes sense.
Yeah.
She had an accomplice. Maybe she didn't. Maybe she's doing this to herself. Maybe she had an attacker. Each one can be justified and explained.
So, Roy Makepeace, he accused 3 separate people of this, which is weird because I feel like if you are guilty, you're going to try to misplace blame to anyone else.
Mm-hmm.
But Roy Makepeace is also 65 years old at this point.
Yeah.
Like, she's 45. I have a hard time believing if Roy was the attacker the whole time as a 65-year-old man, I have a hard time believing he's going to successfully subdue and bound 45-year-old Cindy in this case.
Maybe. I mean, you got to think, too, like, if there is an attacker, there was more than one. Because you go back to whenever she got drug into her garage and assaulted with a knife.
Yeah.
There's two attackers. So
we're pretty confident in saying that didn't happen.
Yeah, I know. But it's like, if it did happen, then there's two. Because there's so much that we'll never know. Unless somebody comes forward that does know something.
Yeah. It is interesting that all of this happened after her and Roy's divorce.
It is. But, and again, you go back to when she was 18 years old. Yeah. She makes up this crazy story. Maybe she was just into making things up, and this time she just took it way too far.
If that one event didn't happen, this changes the whole dynamic of the story.
I agree. And if there was any more evidence, like anything, a shoe print, a strand of hair, another eyewitness,
something to prove that someone else was there.
100 instances over the course of 7 years, and not a single person saw anything.
We don't know much about like DNA testing during this time, but fingerprint, like that was very popular in the early 90s, late 80s.
Yeah. Like,
surely you find a fingerprint somewhere.
But you got to think, this is small town Canada, so did they have access to that? And because, you can take it to the FBI, but the FBI is like, look, we're not interested in some lady whose doorbell keeps getting rang for our fingerprint technology. Like, leave us alone.
Does Canada have an FBI equivalent up there?
I'm sure they do, yeah. I don't know what it is. But
I feel like they should have been involved at some point instead of the Mounties.
But how do you justify that? Like, imagine here in the United States, if you were to hear that the FBI is investigating a series of broken windows and doorbell rings. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Even if you're like, a woman got tied up in her garage and assaulted with a knife, the FBI is investigating it.
Could this have been a crime of opportunity? Maybe
for
someone
7 years?
What I'm saying is maybe let's assume for a moment, I'm not saying this is what I believe. Let's assume for a moment Cindy was making up all of this stuff at this point. Who's to say someone in the community who has to have known of her, because she's got to be a local legend at this point, maybe they felt like killing someone and she made the most sense because everybody's going to believe she did it to herself somehow.
Boy cried wolf situation.
Yeah.
It's definitely possible.
I don't know what else to believe.
Yeah, you're looking at, like, you're just cannot fathom going another day without killing somebody.
I don't believe she hogtied herself.
I don't either.
After ingesting all of those drugs.
I don't think it's possible. Apparently they proved it in court with a not expert, but I don't think it's possible.
As a not expert who is of clear mind as well.
Right. Who's not currently facing certain death because you have thousands of milligrams of drugs in your system. Yeah.
Makes no sense.
So I'm torn. That's why I said earlier I'm on the fence. And you take out and plug in any of these situations, my mind might change. But with the facts that we have right now, I have absolutely no idea what happened to Cindy James.
I think it's fair to say she had some kind of mental illness. In fact, what I was looking up, there was a story I had read somewhere of a woman who kept seeing a man, just random, indescript man in public. She would black out when she saw this man. She would lose hours at a time. One time, the man came to her house, knocked on her door. She saw him. She had a kid at this point. Blacked out, right, for hours. Woke up, the kid was screaming, crying. Kid was still there, but the man was nowhere to be found. Come to find out, she got tested. She was having temporal lobe epilepsies. So the man never existed.
Oh.
Her mind was, I guess, making the man be a trigger. Whenever it knew I'm about to have an epilepsy, the man was like a trigger.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So the mind made up a reason for itself to shut off, essentially.
Filled in the blanks.
Interesting. Yeah, that was something that was considered, was her, everything leading up to her being hogtied so tightly that it was cutting down to the bone.
That makes no sense.
That's where you get into, like, okay, someone else literally has to be involved here.
And Roy Makepeace makes the most logical sense.
He does, but
He's 65
at the
this
same
point.
time, he doesn't. Like, he even tried to reconcile the relationship at one point. And he's, you know... And
He
she's
did, but ultimately nothing happened. She was still dating the Detective McBride.
Yeah, no, but even then, like, the attacks were still happening while he's trying to make up. Like, I'm not buying. I don't think Roy was involved.
Maybe not.
I'm not certain McBride wasn't involved.
You think so?
I'm not certain Tom Woodcock wasn't involved.
Or Agnes Woodcock.
Or maybe Agnes and Tom were teaming up. Maybe they were. Dude, I scrolled through so many theories when doing this outline that you would not believe. Like, I mean, there's an infinite number of theories for this one. So we'll never know unless there was an accomplice or an attacker that steps forward and gives us the whole story.
This one's definitely a doozy. I mean, normally I want to give a thought, give an idea. I don't know where to begin.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to manufacture an opinion on this one because we're not necessarily missing the information. I think the problem here is we have too much information.
Yeah, I mean,
we
absolutely.
know too much about what has happened because she was constantly in the police's ear that we've been overloaded with information, so we don't know what to believe now.
Everything up until her being hogtied and drugged would have you believe she's making it up.
Yeah.
But no, I've already said it. I don't think she could hogtie herself after ingesting all those drugs. It's unsolved. Like, I mean, this is where it's at right now.
Yep.
Sorry, guys.
Yeah, I hate it. Let us know what you think. If
For
any
sure.
of you have ever, maybe some of you are listening and you have more information that I just happened to miss, or maybe you have a theory that makes sense that we didn't consider. Give us your thoughts.
Anybody over there in Sweden? Apparently, we have a big following in Sweden.
I love Sweden, dude. I want to go there so bad.
Shout out to you guys.
Yeah, love you. But that's going to do it for this one. If you liked what you heard, be sure to rate, review the show. It really helps us out. Follow us wherever you get your podcasts. We'll give you a new release every week. Tell everyone you know about us. You can find us on YouTube and on Instagram and, of course, Apple Podcasts and Spotify. Until next time, this has been Tinfoil Talk.
Goodbye.
Love you. Bye.